Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Leslie Giannetti, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here, and I'm the MC today. And I want to welcome everyone online as well. So, our beloved senior minister, Reverend Mary Murray Shelton, is away on vacation. She'll be back next Sunday. And we have a very special guest who I'm going to introduce in a few minutes. But first, what we like to do, we like to begin by having everyone get up and greet your neighbor. Yes, yes. We're a warm and loving community, and we just love to welcome newcomers. All right, everyone. Please return to your seats and settle in for today's service. So what I'd like to do first is welcome our guest musician on the Zoom. That's Nathan Aswell. He's been here several times before. He's a recording artist and speaker based in Vancouver, Canada. And his calling in life is encouraging people to live big lives one small step at a time. So Nathan offers morning musings featuring insights and chanting and contemplative silence every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on his Facebook page. So welcome, Nathan.
Pleasure to be with you at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. In honor of this month's theme, Freeing Our Hidden Splendor, and of today's theme, The Mystery of Surrender, I'd like to kick things off with a song by my dear friend Harold Payne called Something Wonderful. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. And all this love inside, I can let it shine. Whoa. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
So now's our time to turn within for our opening prayer, and that will be given to us today by Reverend M. Louise Mann.
Well, something wonderful is happening to me right here and right now. In this very place, there is quite enough love, quite enough joy, quite enough of all that is needed to remember who we truly are, that we are those divine expressions of God. And within each one of us is all that we need to remember who we truly are, to remember that there is always with us that perfect knowing for each step. And so I am just knowing this morning that as we spend time with our beloved Reverend Katherine, that we remember that all that we need is within us, that we have that knowing, that ability to just listen to that voice within, and we have all that we need. And so I know this morning that each one of us is tuned to that beloved voice within as we open our hearts and mind to listen to the words of Reverend Katherine. And so I just know that it is good. And I just say, I accept this, and so it is.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. From a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find God, I find myself.
Well, now it is my privilege to introduce Reverend Katherine Sachs. And as you know, most of you, that she is a staff minister in Oakland. And she got her training from Reverend Margaret Stortz, which is a renown, in our Centers for Spiritual Living. But she was ordained right here in 2018. So, yes, so I'm welcoming her home, Reverend Katherine Sachs.
Hello, everybody. Hi. It is so good to be back. I'm so happy to give Reverend Mary a break. Apparently, you guys are running a ragged, right? Excuse me, I'm going to do this one thing. And thank you, Leslie. And hello to all of you who are out there live streaming as well. Beautiful day, beautiful faces, beautiful community. And today, as you already know, I want to explore the mystery of surrender. And I'm talking about surrendering to God, to spirit, to that wordless hunger that Nathan was singing about. That wordless hunger in our souls that leads us to read books or find a community or find teachers or adopt spiritual practices. In short, to make changes in one's life in so many ways that sometimes the people who know us back then may not even recognize us now. At least that's the way it was for me. I think I may have confessed this to you in the past, but I'll say it again. I was not always the spiritual master you see before you now. Far from it. In fact, I ran like hell from the idea of anything religious. That's what a Catholic school education will do for you. We ministers, we often quote sages, mystics, saints, people like the Dalai Lama in order to get a point across. I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to read a little bit of something that was written by an alcoholic, drug-addicted, reprobate wastrel from the mid-18th century. I mean, why not get really different, right? This person's name was Francis Thompson, and he wrote a very long poem called The Hounds of Heaven. But I'm going to read you just a very little bit. Excuse me. I've fled him down the nights and down the days. I've fled him down the arches of the years. I've fled him down the labyrinthine ways of my own mind. For though I knew it was his love that followed, yet I was sore afraid. For if but one little casement of my soul's window parted, the gust of his approach would clash it wide, and having him, I would have naught beside. This drug addict spoke to my deepest fear. My fear was that if I allowed God in, my life as I knew it would have to change. It would have to transform. And everything I knew and was familiar with would come crashing down around my ears. So as this Francis Thompson knew, and I found out, you can't open your heart just a little bit to God. I tried to sneak open that one little casement just to see what was there, because that longing just was so deep. And when I tried to do just that little bit, I was just going to peek in. God's entrance blew the whole thing apart. And there I stood. How did I know I was going to become a minister? No. I mean, people who knew me back then would have laughed themselves sick at the idea. So yeah, God makes a difference. But, I seem to be, I think, an extreme case. Not everyone has to get blown apart, to find their inherent divinity or to feel their oneness with God. Still, while there is mystery in surrender, there is absolutely no mystery as to why we seek God. All right? And to prove that, I'm going to give you two quotes, and then I'm going to tell you something very interesting. The first quote is from St. Augustine. Thou hast made us, thine we are, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. And from the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament, God said to Isaiah, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. And that is no idle boast. Now here is the interesting thing. Back when I was in ministerial school, I learned that the emergence of human consciousness, the growth of our self-awareness, if you will, seems to be coexistent with some sense of the sacred. From what archaeologists and anthropologists can tell, from the time we could use our minds to think in concepts, we felt there was something more than we could see and touch. So, from the earliest stages of human development, there was this world of the invisible, this world of the gods, this power that could be accessed if we did the right things. And so from the very beginning, for whatever wonder-filled reason, we humans saw and found the sacred in everything. Frankly, we seem to be hardwired in our DNA for God. From an anthropological point of view, both Isaiah and St. Augustine hit the nail on the head. But as I was saying before, of course, since we are humans, our relationship to God is as unique as each of us is. For some, being spiritually inclined manifests more in things like being actively engaged in a community of like-minded people. Take a look around. Here we are. For others, knowing the sacred and feeling that God's self manifests more in being dedicated to social justice, perhaps, or community outreach programs and volunteering in ways that really help people. Could be food banks, hospice care, peaceful protest. And then for still others, while community is important, always, the relationship with God seems to be more intense, personal, one-on-one. People like this tend to be more contemplative or to be more dedicated to private spiritual practices that have them feeling the love of God as a warm, energetic flow. So each of us feels the pull of Creator God differently, but most of us do feel it. Okay? Now, for some, responding to God or the call is as easy and natural as breathing. I know people like that, and I marvel at them. Okay? Maybe some of you have had that easy path, but others like me, the first response to God's nudging us is to run and to hide and to make all kinds of excuses rather than surrender. So that's why the hounds of heaven spoke to me. And thinking about why that was, I came to realize that the fear of surrendering to God stemmed from my fear of being absorbed into something bigger than I was, something I really didn't and couldn't understand. Our ego tells us that we do that, we're going to be obliterated. And the ego does not like to be obliterated. So, back when I was resisting God, I knew I would have to change. I would have to let go of a bad marriage. I would have to stop drinking so much. I would have to stop making excuses and take some responsibility for my life, and I didn't want to do it. The power of spirit can destroy you. The Bible speaks of being in fear and trembling before the Lord. But what is being destroyed? Going back to Ernest Holmes, all that does not serve our greatest good and our highest expression of who we are. Duh. So that's part of the mystery of surrender, right there. We think surrendering means that we have to give up something. We have to let it go. Something's taken away from us so that we have less, right? That's the human understanding of surrender. But when we're talking about surrendering to spirit, paradoxically, when we think we're losing something, we are gaining so much more than we could have ever imagined. And our lives become really much richer, even when we think we're becoming poorer. But making that leap of faith is hard. I know that. And it's a fear that has been shared by some pretty famous people. I'm going to tell you about one of them. This guy's name is Moses. Now, you remember Moses encountered God when he climbed up the mountain and he found this burning bush. And the burning bush said to him, "Take off your sandals and kneel down." And God wanted Moses to go to the Pharaoh and, free his people. And Moses' first response was, quote, "Who am I that I should go to the Pharaoh and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. And God says, look, don't worry, I'll be with you. But Moses goes, yeah, but who are you? Who are you? Who shall I say sent me? And then comes that famous, I am that I am. And there's Moses going, And he says, yeah, but they won't believe me. They won't even listen to me. 3 times he's saying no. So God says, okay, look, I'll give you 3 miracles that you can use to convince them that you are the favorite of the Spirit. So he shows Moses that, look, your staff can become a living serpent. Wow, cool. This one I don't understand, but it's in the Bible. Your hand can become leprous, like a leper, and then you become healthy again. Okay? And then you can pour out water, and it shall become blood. Isn't that cool? So look, 3 miracles. You think that would be enough? But no. Moses then says, but I am not eloquent, for I am a stutterer and slow of speech. I'm not sure, but I think God was getting a little ticked off about this point because his response sounds a bit exasperated. Quote, who has made men's mouth? Or who makes the dumb, or the deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what to say and how you shall speak. And Moses, still clueless, all right? He basically said, oh, Lord, I beseech thee, send anybody else. Slide, please, Sonia. There's Moses. There's many of us. Anybody else? And the anger of the Lord kindled against Moses. But instead of blasting Moses to smithereens, the Lord says, okay, look. Your brother Aaron is a good speaker. Okay, I'll make him go with you. So he will be your spokesperson and your interpreter. So look, Moses, you've got miracles, you got your brother Aaron, and you got me. Now will you go? And he finally says yes. So, surrender is not easy. You can take that down now, thank you. It's good to know I'm in good company. If, when God comes calling, we so often say, who, me? Like the little bear. And of course, it may not always be this way. As I said, each person's relationship to Spirit is unique, and it's not always about heroic deeds and dramatic actions that upend your entire world. Not everyone who feels and lives from their sense of the sacred and their oneness with God may think it's any big deal. As I said, there is an easy path. Because we have that DNA consciousness of God, for many, living a spiritual life is as natural as breathing. Now, that doesn't mean they want to become practitioners or ministers, but it does lead them to come to places like Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living so that they can express what they're feeling. So it may not be dramatic. It may not be earth-shattering. It may not be burning bushes and all that stuff, and yet, there is another level and nature of surrendering that I think is really more universal. It's the kind of surrender that is embedded in our daily mundane lives. It's far quieter, it's far less dramatic, but it is very significant nonetheless. I'm going to read you something again. This is from the book of Proverbs. In case you don't notice, I kind of like the Old Testament stuff. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not upon your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make straight your path. And there you have it. The different way of surrendering. As we navigate our way through our lives, We're always having to make choices, make decisions, take on new responsibilities or new relationships, or let them go. You know what I'm talking about. That constant daily need to feel that we are in charge of our lives. Much of our education and practically all of the advice that we get about how to live our life and work our way through it says use your brain, your God-given brain, use your intellect, right? And we do, and it works, usually. So how often then, when things get really gnarly, really confusing, really difficult, and we find ourselves struggling, do we stop engaging in our intellect? Do we continue to lean upon our own understanding? Or surrender to the trust that God's will for us will show us the way? Surrendering to God in this way may not be dramatic, may not be world-shaking, but it anchors your life. As I said, it is significant. In fact, we know it. And that's why I think we always say, but, that move to resistance is there. Because that leap of faith to surrender to the infinite wisdom of Spirit, rather than counting upon our puny human understanding, is an active, conscious choice. Our human understanding may be puny and may be fallible, but we know it. It's familiar. It's like Linus's security blanket. And it's hard to let it go, to make that leap of faith into that unknown, knowing that I have to stop thinking, surrender, and know that God will not throw me off the cliff, that I will be led to the right outcome. The answer is already there. The response has already been made. You know, that book of Proverbs that I quoted from about trust in the Lord was written about 700 BC. But in the time of Jesus, 700 years later, our human tendency to fret and stew and worry seems to still be the prevailing methodology. So much so that Jesus tells his disciples, again, sounding a little testy, quote, "Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" And then he goes on to say, look at the lilies of the field, how God provides everything that is needed. And so don't go around fretting and scurrying around trying to make everything happen, okay? I think that Jesus was an advanced spiritual master, and he knew his stuff. So yes, back to the mysteries of all of this. No mystery as to why God calls us and we feel it. But I think the mystery in surrendering itself is twofold. First, I already told you about this one. When we think we're giving something up when we surrender, instead, we get far more than we could have imagined. But secondly, when we think we are giving up our power and our control, we are instead accessing the infinite wisdom and the omnipotence of the only power that can ever be. Rather than giving up, we are giving ourselves over to an infinite possibility and an ultimate life expression that only wants to have a good time in and through and as each of us. We're not here to live in sackcloth and mourning and throw ashes on our head. Why would God want to be like that? So as we surrender, give up the sackcloth and ashes, we find that life is a celebration, like our altar here. You know, if you were here today or watching remotely, I bet you have all experienced that power of surrendering one way or another. Either in finally letting your mind rest and letting your heart lead, or making that leap and changing your life in a big way. But if you want to resist, God help you. I can only say God help you because, frankly, God will not be denied. You can ask Moses. You can ask all those biblical prophets who tried to say, not me, anybody but me. You know, like Jonah or Gideon or Jeremiah or Isaiah. All these great names where we think, whoa, yay, great saints, mystics, whatever. And they all went, no, at first. All of them said, who, me? And God said, yes, you. And you. And you. And you, and you, and you, and me. In closing, I'm going to go back this time to the Psalms. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I fly from thy presence? If I ascend into heaven, thou art there. If I descend into hell, behold, thou art there also. If I lift up my wings like those of an angel, or dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there also shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. For thou hast made my heart. So may your heart hear the voice of the Lord calling you, and may you say yes. Namaste. Thank you. Let's anchor this with prayer. It's great to talk about it up here, but let's move it here. So in this moment, I invite everyone to let go, to feel that surrender into the infinite possibility that it's always saying yes to us. Knowing that this omnipotence, this omniscience is my source. I come from it. It made me. And it loves itself as me, and this is my truth. So I trust it. And as I know this is true for myself, I know it is true for all. In this shared spiritual unity, I claim and know for each person the willingness to unclasp those tightly gripped hands from the things of this world and our human understanding, and to dive into the ocean of God's will for good, for the best and highest. So that I claim and know for each of us that we swim and we are uplifted and held. We can lie on our backs and the water upholds us, the living water of spirit. I give thanks for knowing that each of us, as we make this leap, finds our feet, finds the right path, says the right word, makes the right choice. And the world is pleased and blessed because we have chosen through our hearts and our souls. And our intellect stands in mute awe and wonder and says, thank you. And so today I claim and know for each of us then that blessing, that beauty, and that bliss. I release this word, knowing it is complete in the mind of God. It's already done, so that I can stand back in gratitude, incredible gratitude and joy, allowing it to simply manifest as it always does, So very well. And if this is true for you, I invite you to say with me and anchor it with your seal by saying together, and so it is. Amen. There is an affirmation I would like us to say together before I give the podium over to Leslie. Is it up? All right. Please say this with me. When God calls, I say yes. I surrender my ego and choose my higher self, knowing that God supports me in all ways, and so it is. Thank you for participating. Thank you for hearing. And now I give you Leslie. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Katherine. So now is the time for our conscious giving. So whatever you give, whether you do so automatically or through online banking or cash or check, what's important is what's in your heart when you give, that your intention is love-filled. Thank you, ushers, for coming forward. And so if you would like to donate via text, or the number is 415-779-7613. You can also go directly to our website, ggcsl.org, and click on the Donate tab. So please now hold your gift over your heart while we say this blessing together. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. Know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world, living in love, one heart and one thought at a time, and so it is. I thank you, ushers.
In this time and in this place is the grace to love. With these hands and with this heart, I can start to love, to love, to love, to love. I've been bruised and I've been burned. Still I yearn to love. So I'll forgive and I'll forget, pay my debt to love, to love, to love, to love. Because love is all there is, ever was and will be. to love. I may stand and I may fall, still I will give all to love, to love, to love, to love, to love.
So, on behalf of everyone at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we all accept this offering with gratitude and send it into the world to bring peace and healing and transformation and love. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. So, I want to welcome those who are here for the first time and let you know that there is a little gift for you at the back table where Galen is. And also for you online as well, there's a gift you can find by going to our website, ggcsl.org. And it's a little free little book called Nourishing Thoughts. So I want to thank you. It's our way of thanking you for attending today, and we hope to see you again soon. And we are very grateful to everyone who helped us make today's Sunday service celebration possible. I'd like to start, first of all, by thanking Reverend Katherine Sachs. I'd also like to thank Joe for the Cinco de Mayo altar. And of course, Nathan as well for the beautiful music, and then everyone who came in early to help set up. That's just wonderful. Thank you all. So the first announcement is the Marin Food Bank. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Sorry, everybody. It's not on the script. All right. May birthdays. Does anyone have a May birthday? You can stand right up. Yes, please do. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you. I won't say what number, but it is a milestone for our beloved Elizabeth. And to everyone at home, happy birthday in May. All right, so let's see. All right. So the Marin Food Bank, the sacred service at the Santa Fe warehouse is on May 14th from noon to 2. So please contact Ellen Nicosia if you'd like to volunteer. Ellen's waving her hand. That's great. Thank you, Ellen, for your service. And the next announcement is Crossing a Sacred Threshold workshop with Reverend Mary. And the date has changed. It's going to be June 9th. And it's going to be 1 to 3 p.m. at the Learning Center, our new office. And the registration is $20, and the sign-up's at the back table. And I want you to know Reverend Mary is a brilliant teacher, and you'll really love getting to know her better. And the next announcement is, yes, Journey of the Soul. That's the class that Lori and I are teaching together. And, what? Oh, okay, thanks. And it's this book, The Magic of the Soul. It's available on Amazon. And the author's name is Patrick Harbula, and he is going to teach class number 4 for us. So it's going to be on Zoom, and it's exactly what Reverend Katherine was talking about today, just surrendering up, letting go of that personality that holds you back, that is a critic, and opening to the soul, which is a truth of your being. There's a meditation for every single class, and Lori and I are just thrilled to teach this to you. We come alive when we teach, and it's going to be on Zoom, so we can all be in our pajamas. So the Wednesday meditation will resume next Wednesday at 7:15 as Reverend Mary's away on vacation. And so as we close our morning celebration, I'd like to now invite all of the practitioners, the prayer practitioners, around this room, please. And as a reminder, our prayer practitioners are licensed spiritual mentors. We're part of the ecclesiastic arm of the Centers for Spiritual Living. Many have private practices and can provide full sessions for you. And each week there's a practitioner on the prayer table over there. And so we do encourage you to never leave here with a heavy heart. Go to the prayer table and have a prayer. So now the practitioners are going to bless us all with a chamber of prayer where we all pray individually at the same time to uplift and bless the entire community. So if you open your hearts and close your eyes, you will be enfolded in a very powerful prayer. Practitioners? And so it is. Thank you very much, practitioners. So please, let's all stand now for the closing blessing and the closing song. So join me as we speak the closing blessing together. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness. For spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is.
Thanks very much, everyone, for being here this morning. I'd like to take us out with a song of mine called A Prayer to You. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer to you. A prayer to you. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer to you, my love. In every face may I see you. In every voice may I hear you. In all that is, may this be true. May we be one. May I be you. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer to you. A prayer to you. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer prayer to you, my love. In every touch, may I feel you. In every heart, may I feel you. In all that is, may this be true. May we be one. May I be you. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer to you. A prayer to you. May all that I think and all that I do be a prayer to you. A prayer to you, my love.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.